Hello gems, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Catherine Morgan and I am your favorite financial liaison. And today I'm going to talk to you guys maybe about like 5 things that I wish I knew before starting a business before starting Etsy in general, but mostly like a business in general. So one of the biggest things that starts to really make sense now. Like if you ever ask somebody like, oh, how did you do it? How did you do this? How did you do that? They'll tell you their experience. They'll tell you how you did it. Sometimes they won't. But they might not give you everything and the reason for that is every single person's experience is their own, and you're literally learning as you go. It's like trial and error. There's so many things that even though you might know stuff, bringing it into real life is different. Like I know technical terms, I know definitions, I know stuff from like college, but actually like putting it in real life is very different, especially when you don't get the results that you want. And it's very much learning as you go. So that's like number 1, learning as you go and like trial and error, see what works, what don't work. And if something doesn't work, sometimes you might have to try it more than once. Just because it didn't work this time, that doesn't mean it didn't. It will work one time and it won't work another time, and then it'll work again. It's very up and down. It's very like I said, trial and error. There's going to be lots of like, no one knows all the answers. So you cannot expect a step-by-step personalized how-to on how to run your business, especially if you're a different person and you have different environment, the market that you're in. There's so many factors, and I get it. You might want to have like an overall thing, but don't just know it's learning as you go. Okay. Because what works for you might not work for somebody else, and what works for somebody else definitely might not work for you. And everyone says that, but when you're actually living it and breathing it and doing it every single day, and you're just like, oh my God, now I see what they're talking about. So that's my first tip. Another thing that I wish I knew before I started my business is that don't get offended if someone close to you doesn't support you. And it's not that. And so here's for me. So I have friends that they don't even know that I have an Etsy store. And I did that on purpose. I did not tell them that I had an Etsy store because I wasn't my store isn't exactly where I want it to be. And I'm not saying that I'm ashamed. It's just, I'm just not, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it like to the best that I can, or at least feel good about it. I still have it out and it's still a working progress and trial and error, which is perfectly fine. But I didn't tell anybody. There's only like one friend that I have that knows about the Etsy store, and I don't know how she found out about it because I did not tell her. She's very, very close to me. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knows. The only people that really know is like my family, and then obviously my coworkers, because I made something for somebody and they're like, oh my God, do you make this? And I was like, yeah, I have an Etsy store. And that's the only reason why it was out. But no one knows about it. My friends don't know about it. People that I hang out with, very close friends, they don't know about. Like I said, only one person knows about it. And honestly, I don't even know how she knows about it. I literally have no idea. I didn't even ask, but only one person knows about it. And with that being said, I did that on purpose. So I'm not saying that my friends wouldn't support me. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying for you, if you have a friend or several friends who maybe they didn't buy your product, or maybe they didn't use your service, or whatever, what have you, whatever you're doing, don't get offended. Sometimes they're not your target audience. Sometimes, and if they are, you might kind of want to reevaluate, or maybe you might want to rebrand. Okay. But don't get offended if somebody close to you doesn't support you, or especially if it's like family. Don't get offended if they don't support you. It's not, I promise you, it's really not to be mean. And I'm pretty sure they're supporting you in a different way. And maybe your version of what support looks like isn't the same to them. And sometimes you might have to say that, but other times I don't think it's intentional at all. But I specifically chose not to tell people in my life my friends in my life that I was doing an Etsy store, and that's just like for my own reason. It has nothing to do with that they're not supportive. They are very supportive. They are very, very good friends. I just didn't tell them because I just didn't really feel like it. It's something that I kind of want to figure out on my own and kind of do on my own. Obviously one day I'm going to be reaching out and having other people help me, but I specifically didn't tell people that I had an Etsy store. So that's not that. I don't want you to think that, oh, our friend's not supporting her. No, I didn't tell them. They have no idea. They can't support if they have no idea. So, you know. But like I said, don't get offended if people close to you don't support you. And sometimes if they don't support you, it's because they wish they could have done it and they don't know how to. They're trying to be happy for you, but it's jealousy. But it could be various things as to why somebody doesn't support you. So don't get offended. Don't get offended, okay? So that's the second thing. So the third thing would be don't compare yourself to others. Everybody tells you this. Everybody says the same thing. But again, when you're on social media and you're trying to copy everyone else, or maybe like, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard of like, you know, copy the best, or no. What is it like? Steal the best, make up the rest. Don't really steal people's stuff, but make it copy the best, make up the rest. Let's make it that. But don't compare yourself to others. I have a hard time doing that myself, so I don't want you to think that I'm perfect. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not really like on social media like that. But again, just don't compare yourself to others. It's okay if you want to be inspired by somebody, but try your hardest not to compare yourself to others. If you feel like you are comparing yourself, it's okay to step away and take time, because what you're doing is comparing yourself to, you're on step 1 and that person's on step 50. You can't do that. You can't do it. You just can't do it at all. So that's number 3. Number 4 would be patience. Patience is a virtue. I do not have patience. If you were to ask anybody that really knows me, I'm the most impatient person ever. I'm not good at being patient. So I think that's why this process has been so hard for me personally. I'm just not, if I put in work, I expect results immediately. And I guess that's just kind of how like the world that we live in, but that's not how things work. And I have to retrain my own brain to not be like, okay, well, just because you did this, that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. So I have to constantly tell myself that. So I don't want you guys to think that, being patient is something that's easy, because it's not. Or if you think that, oh, I'm a really patient person, I'm pretty sure this is easy, I'm gonna tell you something, it's not. Or I just feel like, you know, how long you're waiting may not be the same amount of time somebody else is waiting. So don't get mad. That kind of goes back to number 3, comparing yourself to somebody else. Let's say you and that person started at the same time, but you and that person don't have the same, I guess you can say, glow up or blowing up at the same time. And that could be very true. Just don't try not to get offended, try not to get upset about it. And even if you do feel jealousy, try to redirect that and, you know, make something good out of it. Try to be positive about it as best as you can, you know, because 2 people can start at the bottom at the same time, but one person might reach the top faster than the other. And that's okay. That's life. Like, that happens. Just focus on yourself and just keep doing you, and just still be patient, because everybody has their own plan and their own journey that they're going to walk through. Okay. So that's number 4. And number 5, the last one would be, you have to be your own self-motivator. I'm going to say it again. You have to be your own self-motivator. And it's going to like really affect your mental health. And you're going to have to like constantly, like, if you need to write down some daily affirmations every day, if you need to put it on your mirror, or if you're at work, put it on your screen, or put it on your phone, on your screensaver on your phone, or just put it in your cubicle, or wherever you need to see every day, in your car, on your dashboard, on your little horn thingy. Whatever you need to do to motivate yourself to work on your business every single day. You have to work on your business every single day. That's what you have to do. And that's what I mean by it's going to affect you mentally. And that's a good thing that you are working on it and trying to motivate yourself, because you can only be your biggest cheerleader. You are your biggest fan. So you have to constantly self-motivate yourself. And for me, I know that I get down all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, why is like things not working out how I want to do it? And then of course, you know, trying new things and recognizing that if something's not working, if you keep doing it over and over again and expecting a different result, obviously that's like the definition of insanity. That's not going to happen. Now that's different from trying a new strategy or trying a strategy more than once. But for instance, I would like, I think on my Patreon, I talked about how I can be a self-sabotager, or everyone can be a sabotage person. They can self-sabotage their own self. And I've done it before. So that's why I say you have to be a self-motivator. And that's why I said it twice, because you really do have to motivate yourself. And it's going to take some time. So, you know, just keep your head down and keep doing what you're doing. And eventually you're going to see results. And that's just what I've been doing. Obviously, it might take longer than others. Like my timeline's different. My timeline might take longer than others. But I do believe that you have to be a self-motivator, and you have to constantly just push yourself no matter what. So those are the top 5 things that I wish I knew before starting a business. And this is my first rodeo trying to do something entrepreneurial. I still have my blog, and then I have the YouTube, and then I have my Etsy. So that's a lot of stuff to do. You're like spreading yourself thin and doing all these things. That's like kind of like what I'm doing, I guess. And so just realizing like every single time I start something new or start something different, I just have to make sure that these are the things that I've learned, and I just have to make sure that I continue to, of course, motivate myself, stop comparing myself to others, being patient, continue to learn as I go through trial and error, and then, of course, not getting upset if somebody doesn't support you, because that's just one person, and there are other people that will. So, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, whatever you're doing. So that's all the time that I have today. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And always remember, shine bright, my beautiful gems. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.